Now presenting Scott McFabe from BluMetric.
If we could close that door, it would be great. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming to the presentation. My name is Scott McFabe. I'm the CEO and Chairman of BluMetric. It's my privilege to come here and give you a short presentation on our enterprise. Hopefully it answers your questions, gives you some good information about our company and why we're a good place to invest. Before I start, I always want to make sure that those that are new to the story have an opportunity to hear the story, but those who have been with us for a while, just to state my appreciation to all our shareholders who have stuck with us and done well by us. We're here for you and we're working hard to make sure that we are a good investment for you. Standard forward-looking statements. Do my best to paint a picture here for you so you can create the story you want to know for our future. So who is BluMetric? Well, BluMetric, we say water is life, and it is. We're a leading water technology company, and we also have environmental engineering services. We provide total solutions to the world's most challenging environmental and water problems. Our vision, we aspire to be the environmental solutions and water technology company for those that want to positively impact people in the communities they live in. What we do matters. What we do is in demand every day. In terms of the company, we are not a new company. This business has been around over 40 years. It's only been publicly traded about 15 years as a result of a reverse takeover many years ago. I've been with the firm going on 8, going on 9 years, believe it or not. In terms of size of the company, about 6,000 projects completed to date, over almost 110 water tech systems deployed, 220 people, good size, 10 offices across the country, 3 manufacturing facilities, 2 in Canada, 1 in Gainesville, Florida. Our current revenues, trailing 12 months, around $55.6 million for this fiscal year, 2025. Our stated ambitions were to go from 35 to 50 million. Looks like we're going to exceed those ambitions. Trailing 12-month EBITDA is around 2.4 million. So what makes us valuable? We are specialized. We benefit from global sustainability, water scarcity, and military demand. Those are our key tailwinds. You wonder what military, we are the water experts for the Canadian Department of National Defence, both shipboard and land forces. Our strategy focuses on long-term profitable growth, proven diversified customer base. We have 4 key markets we play in, leadership 4, growth plans 4, and that provides us resiliency. Key inflection point in the business right now is especially in our water tech growth investments. We've currently finished about this time last year. We acquired Gemini Water in Florida. They do a lot of work in the Caribbean. I'll explain a little bit more about them further in the presentation. Currently record sales orders. Our goal is to increase our share of recurring revenues and help build a stronger foundation in the business. We love steady revenues. We know you do too. Sometimes in this business it's a little lumpy, but the recurring revenues and long-term relationships help smooth that out. And also looking for strategic growth geographically in Canada, but also the US. So the solutions that we offer, we're trusted by world top companies, including large miners, real estate developers, luxury resorts, cruise ship operators, militaries, and more. In terms of water tech, we have in the States, Mission Ready Water. Those are agile systems. That's also in Canada. These are trailer mount systems that we're currently have developed for the Canadian military, NATO ready for any NATO country. Water purification, we also do wastewater, seawater desal, membrane bioreactors for wastewater. And the Canadian business has been around a long time. Said we are the provider of choice for water solutions for the Canadian D&D. We have mine effluent. This business, this technology translates very well into the mining space in terms of camps and supports. Operation and maintenance, that's a sticky revenue that goes along with maintaining what we design and execute. Service and support. A couple of the pictures at the bottom, I'll get into in a second. Then the professional services, water resources, environmental engineering, compliance, site assessment remediation, industrial hygiene, occupational health. So what we have here is a company that's a combination of water technologies, wastewater technologies, and environmental sciences and engineering. And it's a perfect pairing in which we can work with our clients to understand at the highest levels their biggest problems, design a solution, execute on it, and help operate it. The pictures at the bottom just give you a general idea. At the bottom left, that's a mining site up in the Labrador Trough. We're a water and wastewater system. You can see our systems, they're package plants, shipping type containers. They're modular. We build them on site up in Ottawa, and we ship them up on rail, install them on site, plug and play and go. Next is just a picture of a water intake, a small water intake down to the Caribbean. We're putting in a desal system on a Caribbean island. Third picture, that's the large, well-known, well-used land-based systems called rope use. These are ultrafiltration, reverse osmosis systems that are ruggedized for military use. You drop them in and they produce clean water within 45 minutes. That's the requirement. We're told by the DND that in 20 years of operation with those systems, we've never missed a mission, not once. The one on the far right is kind of a crown jewel of a new piece of equipment we've been commissioned to develop for the Canadian DND. This is a partnership with Rheinmetall from Germany. You may know Rheinmetall, been around over 100 years, one of the largest global integrators of technologies. So we're working with Rheinmetall on what's called an ASWAPS unit. It's about a third, almost a half size of the bigger unit to its left. Newest of technology, but these are all the same benefits of the technology that we have developed over the years, but it's agile. So the Rheinmetall is making the trailer, they make the power supply, we make the interface and the technology that goes in it. We currently have passed all of our testing for the military. We're in full production now of over 21 units, and we have access to new tranches if the military so desires, and we hope they will. Current conditions in terms of military spending in Canada is promising. So our key markets, we work in 4 key markets: commercial, industrial, government, military, and mining. You see on the far left are key business units: professional services and water tech, and then the commensurate services across the board for each market. The bottom, you'll see the amount of revenue we generate per market, at least estimated for 2025. The big boost in commercial industrial is really through Gemini, the acquisition in the States. Pardon me. One of the main reasons that we acquired Gemini is, A, we wanted to have a beachhead in the American market. We saw the change in administration developing. We closed on that acquisition just before the new installation of the American new administration in the U.S. I've spent 24 years of my professional career in the U.S. running and developing and growing water tech businesses, environmental businesses, but came back to the U.S. to turn BluMetric around and grow it. So I have a pretty good idea what's going on in that administration and the necessity to have on-the-ground access to design, build, and operate, execute water treatment systems. Gemini's business fit perfectly in our model in that we have these 4 markets that we operate in. Usually 3 of the 4 are quite robust. Maybe one may lag or stay, stable. But that diversification gives us the ability to produce fairly stable revenues year over year. Gemini, most of their work is in the Caribbean, southern U.S. states. They do both water and wastewater. Some of their bigger clients. We just finished a 2 million gallon per day system for the country of St. Kitts. We turned the tap on Monday. We now produce 40% of the island's new water. In many ways, that's a humanitarian effort in that prior to that, St. Kitts only had 8-hour water. So imagine living in a country where you can only have access to water 8 hours of the day. Now they have it 24 hours of the day. So we love those kind of assignments. We also work with a lot of the ship cruise lines and such, pleasure lines. They all have islands, they all have facilities, they all need water and wastewater support. And Gemini's been doing that kind of work for a very long time. So the clients are like Carnival and Disney and such. They work for all of them. And they're in the business of running pleasure cruises, not water and wastewater facilities. So the big push for us in that market is operation and maintenance. Gemini would design, execute, go away, on to the next one. And this year we've invested over $500,000 in an operation and maintenance expert from Australia. We have many sole source proposals out to those clients to then operate and maintain the systems that we deploy, and others. There's a huge push in aging infrastructure within that part of the world where all these systems have been in a long time and most of them are failing or need to be repaired or replaced. So we see a huge future in that aspect of the business. Government, we do a lot of work north of 60. That parlays perfectly with the military as well. A lot of interest in supporting and defending our northern sovereign waters. So they all pair well, and mining continues to grow and be stable. So we've got a nice business here that really does cut across 4 key strategic markets. Military is definitely growing though. When I say that, we read in the papers, does it really translate in the real world? Yes, it does. The procurement process in the military over the years has been really difficult, year after years, to finally close on a project. What's gone from years has turned into months, and the military is working with those that they've known to trust over the years, which would be us, and so it's much easier for us to access the funding to be able to grow. We work with great companies. If you look at our history, you'll see a fairly stable steps in our revenue growth. It may not look all that exciting until you see a step change, which we definitely will show you after the acquisition of our facilities down in Florida with Gemini. But through the process of turning this business around, we were constantly improving our client base. You're letting revenue go, you're bringing in new, better revenue, better client bases. And so if you look at some of these titles, these are great clients to work with, and this is the kind of portfolio that's bona fide that we want to continue to grow. We say building off of discipline and austerity. One of our early adopters, investors in the company, reminds me, said, Scott, for every overnight success, it's taken 8 years to get there. So you're only 7 years into it, so keep going. And when I came to the company, it was in need of a lot of work. The nice thing is that this company was formed by many of the people that I graduated with very early in my career from the University of Waterloo. And so for me to come back and help my friends turn this business into a bustling enterprise was really a great honor and a privilege, and now we're doing well by it. So up to 2024, really my focus has been stability, de-risk it, make it profitable, show organic growth and extinguish debt, have a clean balance sheet. We have to run a business. In 2024, we saw geographic expansion. We've invested in manufacturing, people development, new water tech, business development. We acquired Gemini and a better sales pipeline. So now we've got a healthy growth platform. 25 and onward, we're pushing hard on our O&M offering with Gemini. That's really blooming. We hope to be able to release some good news soon, as we have proposals out right now that would really back that up. Secure military partnerships. We have now access to some of the best partners, technology consolidators in the industry worldwide. BluMetric equipment all have NATO parts numbers on them. So the technology that we develop and we build up in Ottawa in these containerized systems can go to any NATO country in the world. The nice thing is with the likes of Rheinmetall, they've been working with those other NATO countries for years. And so we are now in their catalog of available technologies that they will also help promote as their clients see fit. So we're delighted with that. It's a huge, huge win for us. In terms of selective M&A and water tech and built environment, Dan and I, Dan Hilton at the back of the room, our CFO, we work very closely together, and we have a very discerning stage and gate process when we're evaluating potential candidates for M&A. This year we've said no to pretty much everyone we've worked with because through deep analysis they just didn't cut it. We're looking for immediately accretive businesses, and we're looking good fits. And as a result of that discernment, we beg the patience of the investment community, but when we make a decision, we make it well-founded. And organic growth is very important to us, especially post-acquisition. And I'll explain how that matters. And then improving recurring revenue so we stabilize our revenue generation. What are the tailwinds that are supporting our growth? So we're ready to help our clients navigate these challenges with innovative, future-ready solutions. With economic uncertainty creates new opportunity. Sovereignty, infrastructure, the built environment, these are all, back to the Gretzky analogy, skate to where the puck's going to go. Military demand for decentralized mission-ready water solutions, that new little unit I showed you at the far right, that picture, that has universal global interests. We are in the UK presenting it. We're in various different countries that have all stated that this is the kind of a product that will solve multiple problems. You can produce potable water within 45 minutes in an agile system that'll support a couple of hundred people immediately. That's just not a military solution, that's a humanitarian solution. That is a response to global climate change knocking out your grid and still being able to have a backup system that you can deploy to produce clean water. Without clean water, in 3 days, you no longer live. So is there a demand for this? Absolutely. Is there a broader appeal? Absolutely. In terms of industrial and municipal fixed water treatment systems, operation and maintenance solutions, we're working with clients who are looking to develop beyond the urban reach of infrastructure. They need their own private infrastructure. So beyond the reach of water and wastewater within a utility, we have clients coming to us saying we have access to a strategic property and we want to develop it. So we do the water and the wastewater. That's big in Texas right now, especially on the membrane bioreactor side of our business, which is the wastewater side of our business. Very profitable business through Gemini. Water scarcity, conservation, humanitarian relief efforts. We love what we do, and we love to make a difference. And the technology we have, the professionals we have, the culture we promote supports our ability to deploy and solve these problems. The impact of emerging contaminants. There's always something new that we have to consider and manage. So depending on what's necessary, we have the ability in our flywheel approach to understand how we can tweak our technology to accommodate the removal of specific contaminants of concern as they become evident. And then the impact of climate change. It affects everything that we do. When we look down in the islands, as a result of global climate change, we're seeing rising sea levels, we're seeing saltwater intrusion under islands, affecting the water quality of their aquifers. So what used to be a clean well becomes brackish, becomes saline, becomes unusable. And as a result, we can treat that water. Growth levers. A stated ambition was to level out or even out our revenue generation. It used to be 2/3 professional services, 1/3 water tech. It's now about 50-50, which it's just happened that way as a result of us growing Gemini. But without a doubt, we're seeing the benefit of that kind of a balanced generation of revenue. We continue to see organic growth in both divisions between water tech and professional services. Our selective M&A pipeline continues to look for inorganic growth opportunities. We're in no rush. We will stay steady on, and if it hits right and it makes sense for us, it should make sense to you when we release those, when we have a press release. And then expand recurring revenue from our professional services and water tech grade. In our professional services business, our returning revenue, our relationships with our client is a retention rate of over 92%. So when they work with us, they like us. And I think the reason is because clearly our people, but our size. We're agile, we stay connected, we're not too big that we forget about you as a client, and we are a client-focused business model. Priorities. Water tech in Canada, building long-term military relationships. Gemini Water, diversifying, increase our U.S. sales, start our O&M offering, all underway. Strengthen professional services sales in the business organization. Wastewater solutions for industrial commercial developers. And sort of that third leg of the stool is we have the water tech side taken care of, we have the natural environment taken care of, but the built environment is a place we see as an opportunity to move into because it all fits together nicely and it all has a continuous opportunity for each. Near-term growth strategy. These are stated ambitions. These are not a business plan goal we're going to hit, but we're saying we need to get to 100 million in revenues, we need to see 10% EBITDA, and we need to establish a strong recurring revenue base. And we have a clear line of sight to get there. So we need selective M&A and organic growth. We need expanded product offerings that make sense, increased manufacturing capacity and infrastructure investments, geographic footprint to naturally and responsibly grow where our clients want us and need us to be, strategic key hires. At the end of the day, it all comes down to our people, all of it. People develop the technology, not the other way around. New sales and repeat business with existing clients. We have to take care of our clients. They have to be sticky, and those relationships have to be respected and supported and nurtured. So how do we do M&A? We just finished a case study we can talk a bit about for Gemini, but really it starts with people and culture. If that doesn't work, nothing works. That is the first stage and gate. And if there's a fit then we continue on to, is there organic potential after the acquisition? If after this decision is made together, can we truly work together to exercise and see that step change? And then they also have to show us a history of profitability. We're not buying fire sales, we're not buying businesses about to go out of business. We want to know that the people that we're bringing into the enterprise have the ability to work with us and work in a way that is running a business. So if you look at Gemini, we doubled their headcount across all functions in manufacturing, sales, and O&M. We transitioned from a 10,000 square foot facility to one contiguous space of 25,000 square feet in about a couple of months post-acquisition, and an option for more. We have right of first refusal for another 25. When we acquired them, they had about a $7 million trailing revenue, and we produced a step change to $20 million within about 11 months. And that's just helping them achieve what they needed to achieve, because prior to having our involvement, they didn't have the support that they needed, and we were there for them. And that's an amazing step. And then develop key manufacturing hub now that we have in the US to be able to diversify and protect against trade barriers. Because a lot of the work we're doing out of Florida is in other countries out in the Caribbean. And so being able to take advantage of that opportunity and work with a Canadian enterprise is really healthy. So we want to be prudent and opportunistic with our capital allocation. We want to ensure it's driving the appropriate returns with excess cash generated. If you look at our performance over the years, with my involvement, you'll see that we're stepping up. We're around 35 million as we're changing out and improving our client base. And then we bring Gemini in, we invest in them, and we're looking at a trailing 12 months of around 55.6 million top line. So really nice lift. And everything to do with the people that have invested and believed in what it is that we committed to do. When Dan and I have a standing call every week with the original owner of Gemini, and the repeated response is, everything you said was going to happen has happened, and everything you said you were going to do, you've done. And so it seems pretty simple. Base hit baseball, you do what you say you're going to do. This is a perfect example where two partners come together, respectfully look at the business, and grow it. If you look at our organic growth over the years, it's kind of stepped up. But a nice lift, obviously, after we brought in Gemini, doubling their business and so on. But you're seeing our average annual organic growth. Our trailing 12-month right now is about 33%, 3 years about 11%, 5 years about 6%. We're just not acquiring companies to consolidate. We want to acquire strategic companies to work with us to grow together. The team's seasoned. Just between Dan and I, we've got about maybe 75 years worth of management and leadership skills. I'm probably like 70 of those, if you look at Dan. But the team is a terrific team. We're really privileged to work with these people. Right across the top of the board, in terms of the management team, Jody Johnson, she looks after our operations for professional services. Dean Bedford, he looks after Gemini. Corey Switzer, Christmas Future, he looks after our water business in Canada with the military. Our board's very seasoned. Ian Moore McDonald, he's for our audit chair. We have two Ian McDonalds and two M McDonalds. Ian Murray McDonald is the founder. I've known Ian 35 years. He and I both graduated from the University of Waterloo under the same program, environmental engineering and hydrogeology, who was taught by David Rudolph. David Rudolph's a professor at the University of Waterloo and an internationally renowned water expert. David is a personal friend, and we're delighted to have him on our board. Next in line is Mohsen Mortada. He is a former partner of mine when I was in the US, part of a 100-year-old water company based in New York City called Malcolm Perney. Mohsen is currently in LA. He is the chief of staff for the Southern California Water District. So he's responsible for every water district from LA to the Mexican border. His annual operating budget is $55 billion. Mohsen's Canadian. He's moving back to Toronto. They are hoping he stays. I'm glad to hear he's coming back to Canada. He's moving back to Toronto. But he is a former partner of mine, an amazing water strategist, and just an amazing businessman. So delighted to have Mohsen on board. A new addition to Stephen May. Stephen is up in Ottawa, works for Welch Partners, definitely an M&A expert, really very, very helpful to help us with making sure we're assessing and looking for the right things and making good decisions. So I am in very good company. One of our larger investors, who actually is one of them that's running this show, said, you got to put a comp table together and just give people an idea where you stand in terms of your enterprise value to sales. So if you look at BluMetric right now, our EV to sales is about 0.9. If you look at our quarterly revenue growth, about 81%, and the rest are certainly much higher. So the combination of all that would say, we think we're a little undervalued. Cap table, go fairly quickly. You'll see the stocks performed well. The first presentation I gave like this was about this time a year ago in Vancouver. It was the first one I've done. I told myself I'm not going to do this unless we have a good story and I can tell it well. We told it well in Vancouver, and the stock really took off. There was a lot of interest, and we're grateful for that. If you look at insider ownership, total insider ownership is around 43%. Outstanding shares, fully diluted market cap, we're about 35 million, give or take. Fully diluted shares around 42 million. Fully diluted market cap around 52. How am I doing? Good. So I'll bring it in for a landing. Why invest in BluMetric? A specialized company benefiting from global sustainability, water scarcity, and military demands. Long-term strategy, stay profitable, stay diversified to be resilient. Key inflection point to grow our water tech and our other growth investments. Stay on recurring revenues and expand responsibly geographically. Thank you.